This is Henry Frederick of Headline Surfer, and I'm here in my home in Sanford on the eve of the Daytona 500 with Michael Drews. I believe you're one of the world's greatest NASCAR fans.
Oh, thank you. I like to think I am.
So tell me about what happened today at the Xfinity race. I guess that's the warm-up to the 500 race?
Well, they had Kevin Harvick up in the booth today, and he was kind of nervous because there was some different people that were up front, and as it turned out, Chase Elliott, who's going to be our pole sitter tomorrow, he ended up winning. Everybody was watching Logano come from the side. He kept being up in the top there, and he ended up coming in second.
That was my prediction. I believe Joey Logano will be a repeat winner in the Daytona 500. And you said that you also like Dale Earnhardt Jr. as a possibility.
Right, my two picks I'm going with is Dale Jr. and Kevin Harvick.
Yeah.
Especially since now my favorite driver's not in anymore.
And
being Davey Allison, who passed away, and then Jeff Gordon retired, but he's going to be up in the broadcast booth.
now it's ironic that Jeff Gordon's car is being driven by the pole sitter Chase Elliott.
Right.
On the number 24. A lot of people think that's kind of heresy. What's your take on that?
That's the same as with Richard Petty's number and Dale Sr.'s with the 3. I mean, sure, you've got your memories with them guys, but it's a number. Focus on what you guys did with him, and now let's, all get behind Chase. He's a great driver. He came from great roots. I used to like his dad when he raced back.
No, that was Bill Elliott.
Right, Bill Elliott, back in the 80s.
A former Daytona 500 winner.
Right.
Let me ask you this. You know, there's been all this marketing in the last couple of years about Daytona Rising, and you know, NASCAR's fan base has shrunk somewhat when Dale Earnhardt tragically died 15 years ago. Jeff Gordon retired this past season. You know, this is the first season without him. He was kind of like the guy that would push the old man, Earnhardt. Is it a new era now for NASCAR, and do you feel as strong about it as you did, say, during the Earnhardt-Gordon era, or even before that with the Petty, with the Petty era before that?
I think it's definitely a new era, and no, I'm just still not feeling it. I went to Homestead to watch Jeff's last race. I saw his first race and a ton in between, and I told my wife I've got to be there for his last one, and there was just all kinds of excitement. And for some reason, I'm just not feeling it this week. I don't know what it is, but I mean, it's great looking at the stadium and things like that, but the ticket prices and the food, it's just, I don't know, holding me back a little bit. Maybe because I know Jeff's not going to be out on the track.
You think it's more of your sentimental, your guy's not there, and it's a lot of a lot of drivers. I've been following NASCAR like you for 20 years, and I don't even know half the field.
Right, I was driving over here today thinking, well, how come I'm not feeling it? And it took a long time to get into the loop with Davey Allison and to get into the loop with Jeff Gordon to where I felt like I was part of the team. And now I'm having to latch on to somebody different, and I'm not really feeling 100%. I'm almost feeling more like any other fan that's out there. Hey, I like this guy. Well, yeah, so does a ton of other people, and I'm not in that circle like I was.
Well, you know, it's funny. We're both from Northeast. You're from upstate New York. I'm from Connecticut. We're both 54 years old. We're old school. You probably like Richard Petty. I like Cale Yarborough. You had the Allison brothers. You had David Pearson, the Silver Fox, and then of course the next generation was Earnhardt and Gordon, and now you've got Dale Jr. He's the veteran. I took note earlier this week where he said something along the lines of, you know, it's another Earnhardt victory, and you got Harvick, the veteran now, who replaced Earnhardt, and Tony Stewart's injured, and this is his last season. So there really is a change of the guard. So I see not Bobby Labonte, that's another former driver that's still there from old school, but I see the kid there, number 22, Logano, as the rising star. And who do you see as the rising star?
There's a few of them out there. I'm sure Logano, they've all talked about him when he first came up. He's the next best thing to sliced bread, and it's taken him this long to get to this point. So I'm thinking he's going to be someone to reckon with for quite a while.
He's in his early 20s, right? And he won right away. You've got this kid Lawson, Kyle Lawson. Remember he ended up in the catch fence,
right?
I think this kid has a lot of potential.
Right. Eric Jones is another one. He's coming up. He won the truck race the truck championship last year, and he moved up to the Xfinity race today. And he had a little bit of problem today, but he could be a force to be reckoned with also.
What do you think of a veteran like someone like a Martin Truex? His younger brother was in the truck race last night. He did pretty well.
I was actually pulling for him to win last night, just because of the story with Martin and Martin's girlfriend with cancer.
And you've got, who are the other drivers we were talking about? The guy that won the 2 races there. Used to race for DeWalt.
Oh, Matt Kenseth?
Right, Matt Kenseth, he's a veteran. You've got some veterans in there, and you've got a mixture of young guys. But you see it coming down to Harvick, the veteran, and maybe Dale Jr. and Joey Logano?
I think one of those 3, yes.
What about the poles that are there?
It's still Daytona. I mean, he won today with some really smart driving, but he has some teammates, and it's just a matter of the last lap. Get yourself in position, and a yellow could come out at any time and just screw everything all up. Like Gordon was setting up last year to have something go good and get in the right position for the last 10, 20 laps, and then all of a sudden he got caught up in that last lap and ended up in the 30s. So you just never know with Talladega or Daytona.
Now, I remember a couple of years ago when Austin Dillon, the son or grandson of the owner, Earnhardt's car owner, I can't think of his name.
Richard Childress?
Richard Childress.
The grandson.
When, Harvick took the number 29 out of respect for Earnhardt's number 3.
Right.
And then a couple of years ago, Austin Dillon had the number 3 and won the pole. But I believe he finished 10th or in the top 10, and Earnhardt Jr. actually won the race.
Right.
So it's kind of like, not retro, but payback in a nice way.
Right.
The veteran won out. Do you see anything like that this year happening? Do you see any fairy tale ending, or are you not as optimistic? Or
I don't think there's as many stories out there this year. It's just going to be a matter of, I think more of the stories might come out of the trucks and the Xfinity now because they have the chase.
well, let me ask you this as a final thing. Most of the marketing has been Daytona Rising. You got 110,000 seats, 101,000 seats cap. You had upwards of almost 200,000 not long ago. But NASCAR finally acknowledged we have a sellout for the first time. A lot of the other speedways, tracks that they have are going to be going in that sort of arena kind of look. You think that's the way of the future, kind of a little more consolidated, a little more packed?
I think so. It looks a lot better on television. It's a lot of smoke and mirrors, but it looks better on TV. I mean, it looks really pretty out there, but it's still Daytona. And it's just going to be a matter of doing the right thing and hoping you're not in the big crash. Like today, luckily there wasn't one.
The big one.
Right, luckily there wasn't one today.
So that raw power of the restrictor-plate racing has got to be pretty strong.
Right.
Earlier you were talking about ticket prices, and of course I'm not able to go to the race, and so we're handing off my ticket to you to be a featured sports person for the center of the thing. $215 for a ticket. That's a lot of money for a seat.
Yeah, it is.
And then you're at home, and you can watch it on TV, but it's just nothing like being there, is there?
No. I mean, TV, it's good to watch it on TV, but there's nothing when they first come off that turn 4. Now it's 40 cars. It used to be 43, but 40 cars coming off of there. The seats just rumble, and just the excitement.
That raw power of
Yeah.
those. Now, one last final question. You got Daytona 500, and then Memorial Day weekend we got the Indy 500. I know you're a fan of both. Which race do you think now is the signature race? Remember, Juan Pablo Montoya came back, won his second Indy 500 last year. Very strong caliber racing with the Indy and the Daytona 500. You still think those are the 2 premier races?
I think they are.
And which one would you say is 1 and 2?
Indy still draws a lot more people. I mean, if you look at just the Indy race, they're still pulling in 300,000-400,000.
Oh yeah, it's a monster race.
And they bring the Cup cars out there in August, and they're not even getting 100,000. So there's still a huge draw for the Indy cars.
And you think those open wheel cockpits, when they're talking about closing them up for safety with that driver death last year, is pretty sad. But the sport seems to be a lot safer now. But you never know, right? Come tomorrow, keeping your fingers crossed.
I'm hoping for a really safe race. Hoping not for having a big crash or anything like that, and just let's have them fight it out on the track, not end on your yellow.
Well, of course, we've got the new rules where it's no longer just a green-white checker, that there's multiple opportunities here. So for Michael Drews, avid racing fan, open wheel racing, NASCAR racing, this is Henry Frederick of Headline Surfer. Good luck tomorrow, and congratulations.
No, thank you.